Dear students who are watching right now, everyone where you are, a good day. One take this one at welcome you. Back after that short we had for some 2 weeks that we are still going through. We want to, if you can recall very well, in our last discussions, we talked about internet, World Wide Web. We learned a lot about internet, and we will conclude that topic. Today we want to start a new topic which we are going to discuss about. We are going to go through another part called data communication and the networks. It's the part we are going to go through. I know all of us have ever heard about the word communication. And that's general word called communication. So this topic, it has a number of words that are joined together to formulate a full topic called data communication. You have the first one called data. You have the topic called the word called data. What is data? This is the way how we define it within our ICT. All know that data is all about streams of raw facts and figures with little or totally no meaning at all. So in that way, data has what we call little or totally no meaning. So day after day in our environment, we use data, we collect data, and we use it. It has little or no meaning. Then there's this word called communication. Yes. Communication in our simple layman's language is the act of exchanging information. That's what we call communication. So in this side, or in line with our computing environment, we also have what we call communication. And day after day when devices are day after day when devices are talking to one another, they do have what you call communication. Then there is also this one called networks, or a network. I remember I told you that a network is all about a link that exists between two devices or amongst devices. So long as we have two devices and they are communicating or they are talking to one another, there we have what we call a network. So a network is just a link that is established between two or more devices and they are capable of communicating to one another. So this topic, there's a number of things we are likely to talk about as we are going to see or as we are moving on slowly. So let us begin with the process of defining what is data communication. We began with knowing what's data and what's it all about, communication. We say that communication is just about the process or the act of exchanging information. And now that act of exchanging information this time around is taking place amongst what? Devices. So there I think on the screen, people you are able to see very well, we are saying that data communication is the process of transferring data, instructions, and information from one computer to another or from one device to another. So the exchange of data, information, or instruction among its devices. That's what we call data communication. So in that way, you may have two computers, computer A and computer B. So computer A is communicating to computer what? To computer B. In that way, what is being exchanged here, maybe the devices are exchanging data, they're exchanging information, or they're exchanging instructions, or the so-called softwares. The two are communicating to one another. So data communication is that process we go through, or the process of transferring data, instructions, and information from one device to another. Uh, Students, we should know that for communication to take place, there we should have what you call the components. So communication cannot take place just when there are no components or when we don't have what you call those components. So even in our usual environment, if you are to communicate to another person, there are things that have to be available in order communication to take place. So for us to have communication in place, we have some components that have to be what? Be available. Where you are now, think about that time. Maybe you are called by your mother that please, I want you here to do for me this and this. At that time, the mother is calling you. There should be what you call the message that is flowing from your parent to you. Then there is also what you call the means or the channel your parent is using. Even some other components that are available, that should be available for us to see that communication is taking what? Is taking place. So we are going to go through what we call the basic or the components. Stock elements. So they are sometimes called the basic elements of a data communication model. The components of a data communication model. Those ones we want to go through them and we see those elements. So the first one we are going to talk about is called a sending device. A sending what? Device. A sending device. A sending device. We are saying a sending device, the fact that device that is in charge of initiating the instructions. Yeah. A device that acts in the process of initiating instructions that are going to be transferred to another device. So, a device that is responsible for initiating the communication process is called a sending what? Device. If computer A wants to communicate to computer B, computer A that is in charge of coming up with the process of communication to computer B is called the sending what? The sending device. So this is the machine that is responsible for generating the ideas that are going to be exchanged. It's called the sending what? Device. Could be the two they intend to exchange software or the so-called instructions, or they want to exchange data or information and so on. So A is the sending what? Is the sending device. So that's why there, I think you can be able to see very well the notes they are saying. Device that initiates an instruction to be transmitted. Those instructions can be maybe data instruction information that are meant to be exchanged with another device. We are saying a sending device can be a computer or any other gadget that is used in the communication process. So don't say that is a must, it should be a computer that is in charge of doing that. It can be any device. That's why they are down there. I'm indicating that it can be a cellular phone or a GPS receiver, a PDA, any device that you use that is responsible for starting that process of communication is called a sending device. So every time you pick your phone and you go through the process of talking to another individual, your phone is a sending device. That time, the other time I taught you how to create email accounts. At that time, as you are using that computer of yours to create that email message, that computer you are using is a sending device. That's why we are saying this is the device that is in charge of initiating the instructions that are meant to be transferred to some other devices. For people there, you are getting me very well. Let us move on to another component or element of what we call the data communication model. The next one is called a communication device. A communication device. Hope people are going through now a communication device. We are saying a communication device. This is the device that converts data or instructions or information from the other sending device into signals that can be carried over what we call the communication channel. So we are saying that in case computer A is interested in what in communicating with computer B, there should be what we call a channel that we are going to use. But when information, data, or instructions they are available here to computer A, they are in the form of what we call in the format called digital. They are in the digital form. They are in the form of zeros and ones. They are not called the binary form or binary digits. So, information to flow through this cable, it cannot flow this cable or channel in what we call a digital form. Now it has to be converted into a format that can be allowed to pass through this channel, and that format is called the analog form. It's called the analog form. Now the process of converting what you call digital signals to what we call analog signals to be transferred over the channel, it is done by what we call the communication devices. So we have a number of those communication devices that are used. We use them in the communication process as devices are communicating to one another. Their main purpose is to convert what is going to be exchanged among these devices into a stable form. That's the analog format that can pass through the cable or channel to the other receiving device. Down there you can be able to see, I've tried to display some of those communication devices we are talking about. You can be able to see the network interface card. Yes. Then I've also, hope we are seeing that wireless network interface card also. The wireless one can allow us to, we can connect to our devices that cannot access wireless connection, so that they can be able also to access wireless what? Connection. Yeah? For example, you can be with your desktop computer and cannot function or cannot access wireless connection. You can look for what you call the wireless network interface card and fix it there. Or the wireless adapter and fix it inside your machine. Then it will be able to access wireless what? Connection. We have the modem and some others. Shall be able to look at them where we are at. We are going. So let us move on to another component of the data communication model. People, I want you to know that the following I'm talking about, in case one is not available, we cannot see communication taking what? Place among us devices. So we need to pay serious attention to those components. The next one, people hope you are seeing it there now. The communication channel. Communication channel. We are saying a communication channel is the path, a path over which signals are sent. The path over which signals are sent. The way over which signals are what? Are sent. That's what we call a communication channel. We are saying a communication channel, it can be in form of what we call a cable. For example, a cable like this one. You can see I'm having a cable here. This one is the HDMI cable. Yes, in case I want to exchange data or information from the computer to the projector, I can use that cable. There at home, you normally use such cables to have connection between what we call that TV or television and the other decoder. So you want the decoder to communicate to the television. We normally use such cables. Now we have also this cable of this format. You can be able to see it, such a cable. So these are the channels through which. Now, we are saying a channel is formulated by what we call a transmission media. So, this channel we are talking about, we formulate channels. A channel is formulated by what you call the transmission Transmission media. The transmission media is all about the technique or the material that is capable of carrying one or more signals. I think now people can be able to see very well there on the screen what I'm talking about. I've tried to display what we call the transmission media. I'm saying the transmission media is the one that helps us to formulate what we call the communication channel. So, as you are communicating, you can use what you call a physical channel or a wireless channel. So those ones are formulated by what we call the transmission media. Now, we are saying the transmission media can be guided or unguided according to my illustration there. The guided is also called the wired. For the type of media that is formulated by what we call cables. The wired transmission media. So it is also called the guided transmission media. It is also referred to as the bounded transmission media. You can be able to see them there. We have categories of those cables that are used. We have what called the twisted pair cables, the coaxial cables. There is also what we call the fiber optic cables. Such cables are used in the process of data communication among these devices. Then the other side, you can be able to see, I've tried to display those unguided transmission media or the wireless transmission media or the unbounded. So these ones, they use what you call space. Signals are transferred through what we call space. We have the microwave, the radio waves there, the cellular, infrared, satellites, such devices. When they are communicating to one another, they use what you call space, or they are transferred through air. So that where we are heading to, we shall be able to discuss about them in a more detailed way. Let us move on. We look at another component. It's called the receiving device. The receiving device. The receiving device, we are saying this is the device that accepts what you call transmitted signals from the sending device. I have used the very good example in the beginning of computer A and computer B. We agree that computer A in this scenario, we make it to be the sending what? The sending device. And we said computer, let us say computer B is the receiving device. So computer B that is in charge of accepting signals that are coming from computer A is the receiving what? Device. I think you can be able to see it very well on my illustration. So the computer that accepts instructions from the sending device, or a device that is in charge of accepting instructions from the sending device. I'm saying that let us not think that in this process we are talking about is only taking place among just computers only. No, it can be any other device, as I told you in the beginning here. So that device, the exchange can take place between a computer and maybe a modem somewhere. Let us say this one is the modem, A is the modem, and this one is a computer. B is a computer. So there is a communication that is taking place from a modem, which is the sending device, and the computer is the receiving what? Device. Okay. We move on to another component. The last component of the data communication model is called the communication software. In this communication process we are talking about, it cannot take place unless there is the aid of what you call softwares. We are all aware that in the high computing environment, these gadgets, they cannot function unless softwares they are what? The softwares they are available. So even in this process, as they are talking to one another, we have those softwares that help in what you call the communication process. So that's why we are saying that it consists of programs that manage transmission of data, instruction, and information amongst what we call devices. I want you to think about the way you manage to log into our site to access the lessons you're having now. You used what we call a web browser. Maybe Edge, Chrome, and so on. So that software, that Chrome, Edge, and some others you are using to log into our site, they are communication software. They help us to, or they help those devices to communicate to one another. This site, there is what you call a certain computer that is in charge of initiating the instructions, that is in charge of initiating the video you are watching now. and go through a number of softwares for you to view that video at this time. So those softwares that help in that process of communication, they are referred to as communication what? Softwares. I want you to, after the lesson, or if you're just on the computer, you can just even open another tab. When I say that open another tab, you don't close the tab that you are using and now as you are learning. You can just click on that plus sign on that web browser that is active you are using right now. You'll be able to come up with a new page. So within the new tab, you can go there, you type there examples of communication softwares. They will give you a list of them, then you go through them to know the number of softwares that are used in the communication process we are talking about as devices are communicating to one another. So we are going to first view that video a bit that is in charge of summarizing our discussion as we are moving on. We are going to view that video a bit. So I want you to pay attention to that video as we are watching to see what is taking place. Okay. Let us see how the video is going to flow. Hope people are paying attention to that video as it is flowing. Uh, Okay, let us continue from where so far we have stopped. Remember, we have been going through the video that is talking about data communication. That video, it was helping us to summarize so far what we have talked about. So let us proceed now after summarizing our discussion about the components of what we call the data communication model. We should know, or we have agreed that it's made up of the following components. We have said the sending device. Now we have talked about the receiving. We have talked about the communication device. Then we have talked about the communication channel. And lastly, we have talked about communication what? The communication software. So these are the 5 components that make up what we call the data communication model. We should know that in case one of them is not available, we cannot see devices when they are communicating to one another. So our duty, we are supposed to go through all of them one by one. We get to know, or we get some detailed discussions about those components one by one. Let us begin with what we call the communication device, as you are able to see on the screen there. We are saying a communication device is a hardware device capable of transmitting what we call analog or digital signals over what we call the telephone line or other communication wire or in a wireless form. So a device that is capable of transmitting signals there. In the beginning, I told you a device that is capable of changing them to a format so that they can be transferred over the channel. Uh, there I'm saying that a good example of such devices, we talked about the primary device that is known in that sector is called a modem. And we are saying that a modem is in charge of converting what you call digital information to analog information, or from digital to analog, and vice versa. So it's called a modem. So we have some other devices that are in charge or that are known as communication devices. What I know all of you who are watching are now, when we hear about the word communication device, you may just think about those gadgets that are helping you in the process of what? Communication. That's what you can think about, right? But we are referring, whenever I talk about communication devices, we are referring to those gadgets that help other devices to communicate. Okay? They help in the process of making other devices to communicate to one another. For example, a pen, yes, it is helping that computer to communicate to another computer, maybe the computer for the internet service provider. So it is aiding what you call the communication process. Those are devices that are called communication devices. So there on the screen, you are seeing now the common examples of communication devices. The first one we have talked about a modem. We have what you call the network card, or the Ethernet card, or the network interface card. We have what you call a multiplexer, a repeater, a hub, a gateway, router, switch, and so on. So we are going to go through those devices and get to know their uses or the functions that are attached to those devices. Hmm? So let us begin with what we call the modem. What is a modem? We are saying a modem is the communication device that converts between what we call analog and digital signals. Yeah? That converts between analog and digital signals. People, the word modem, we are saying it has two components. That is the what is coming from two words, modulation and demodulation. So we have two words that are combined to form the word modem. First one is called modulation and another is called demodulation. What is modulation and what is demodulation? We are saying modulation is all about converting digital signals into analog signals. So we agree that communication devices, they help in the process of changing what is going to be transferred into a format that is suitable for the channel. So in the process, a modem, or during the modulation process, it converts what we call analog signals to digital. So it converts digital signals to analog so that they can pass through what we call the channel. And when they reach to the final destination, we are aware that the other device that is receiving cannot use that information in that format. It has again to be changed to a format that is this device is capable of what? Understanding. So still a modem is in charge of that, converting digital now back to, converting analog back to digital for use on that receiving device. So at that level, as it is converting from analog to digital, it is undergoing what we call demodulation. In the beginning, as it is converting from digital to analog, the process is called modulation. So modulation, that's why I say modulation is the process of converting digital signals to analog signals, and demodulation is the process of converting analog signals back to digital signals. I'm saying that a modem is connected to a sending what? Is connected to a sending device. Then, after being connected to the sending device, then it is able to change digital information or instructions or data to analog, so that it can pass through what we call the channel. And when it reaches to the final destination, it does the same. Or the other receiving device also has what we call a modem that is responsible for converting what is coming in format of analog to digital for use on that device. Okay, let us move on to the next part, types of modems. We have a number of modems that are being used. But we are going to go through the first three, the commonly used three. We have what called the cable modem. We have also what called the digital subscriber line modems. The last one is called the dial-up what? Modems. Those ones, the one you're going to talk about. Let us go through them briefly, then we see the way forward. We are to begin with the cable modem. As you are seeing there on the screen, they are telling us the type of modem that uses what you call coaxial cables. Uses what you call coaxial cables. Uses what you call coaxial cables to connect back. Or it uses what you call inbuilt coaxial. So it uses what you call cables that are connected. So there is a cable that is running from that modem. Let us assume this is our modem. So we have a cable that is moving from there back to this computer or to the device. So that one is called cable what? Cable modem. It uses what you call coaxial cables. This is where we are going to talk about the types of cables, but the coaxial cable is that type of cable that inside is inbuilt with what we call copper, or it is made up of copper. So the cable, but inside that cable is what we call a copper. So data flows through that copper. So the cable modems, they use what we call the coaxial cables to exchange data with some other devices. Let us move to talk about another type of modem. We have what we call the digital subscriber lines. The digital subscriber line. Digital subscriber line. We are saying this one uses what we call also copper, current copper infrastructure to supply what you call the broadband services. However, these ones, they can be able to, or they work at a very fast rate compared to the other copper cables. So the other cable modems we have been talking about. People, we should know that in ICT environment, we don't look at devices according to their shapes, size, and so on. So as we are defining them, we refer to their functionality, how they are capable of what. So you find that a cable modem, you need one that takes the very shape like the other digital subscriber line what? When they are taking the very what shape, but the functionality will be what? Will not be functioning in the same what? In the same way. So Then we move on to another one. Let us talk about the common types of the digital subscriber modems. We have what called the asymmetric digital subscriber line, and you are seeing type of modems that support faster transfer rate when receiving what data. So when you are downloading, you have information, videos, and so on that you want to download. When you are connected to that type of modem, or you have connections that are flowing through that type of modem, you find that you'll be able to download very much, very fast. So there I say that is ideal for internet access because most users download more information compared to uploading. It's very case to find when you're uploading. Every time you think about downloading. Uh, then you also have what we call the high bitrate digital subscriber lines. They also have another type which we are talking about of the digital subscriber lines. But seriously, you know that there are many other types. When you go to the browser and type in types of digital subscriber lines, you will find that the number of them. So, lastly, I want us to finalize our discussion today. With that, I think when we meet again, we shall talk about the data modems, we shall talk about the network card, and so on and so on, as we are continuing with our discussion about data communication and the networks. So I want to remind you to, as you are going through the lockdown, be very serious. Go through your work. You don't just think about moving up and down. Since we have the lessons, you can keep on visiting those lessons. Some of us we are not aware that the program can allow you to always check through the video library. So in case you missed any lesson, please don't say that I missed that lesson. I've seen some people there over complaining that they have missed lesson. We cannot miss the lesson with this online learning because all lessons are stored in that video library. So always go to your class and check there in the video library. You'll be able to watch all the lessons as many times as you can, even if you are going through that lesson and you are unable to understand it very well as they are teaching, there and then you can visit that very video so that you summarize very well and you are capable of picking something from what the teacher is teaching. Otherwise, I wish you a good day. Team shall meet again. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.